There's a moment every man remembers, even if he doesn't talk about it. That first quiet morning when he wakes up and realizes nothing's happening. No morning wood, no fire, just silence. For David, a 67-year-old former Navy engineer from Charleston, that moment came like a slap in the face. He told me, "Doc, I used to wake up ready to take on the world. Now, I wake up feeling like a shadow." He wasn't sick. He wasn't on heavy meds. But something had gone quiet inside him, and that silence was louder than anything else in his life. I'm Dr. Mark Hyman, MD. Over the past 30 years, I've had the honor of helping thousands of men over 60 restore what they thought was lost: their energy, their masculinity, and their connection to themselves. I don't prescribe quick fixes. I believe in rituals, natural, sustainable changes that work with your body, not against it. And today, I want to talk about one of the simplest but most powerful rituals I've seen completely change lives: a morning cup of coffee blended with fresh ginger and raw honey. It might sound too easy. David thought so too. When I first told him to add half a teaspoon of grated ginger and a teaspoon of raw honey to his black coffee each morning, he laughed. That's it. Yes, that's it. Because that combination does something extraordinary. Caffeine gets your heart pumping, but ginger kicks it up by boosting nitric oxide, which relaxes blood vessels, especially in the groin area. Honey. It fuels the process with natural energy and nutrients. Within minutes of that first sip, your blood starts moving again. And when blood flows, so does confidence. 5 days in, David called me. "Doc," he said, "I don't know what kind of wizardry that coffee is, but I woke up this morning and I felt 25 again." What happened wasn't magic. It was biology remembering how to work. You see, men over 60 don't just lose erections because they're old. They lose them because their circulation slows down, their vessels tighten, and their nervous system gets sluggish. But that doesn't mean it's over. This morning, drink this warm, simple blend is like an internal wake-up call. It turns the lights back on in places you thought had gone dark. And once your circulation is awake, your manhood is too. When circulation returns, something else starts to stir deep inside a man, something more primal. That's what happened with David. After a few weeks on his new morning ritual, he sat down in my office and said, "I'm not just waking up harder. Doc, I feel sharper. Stronger, like myself again." And that, right there, is the heartbeat of what we're talking about. See, erections are just a symptom. The real issue, testosterone, or more specifically, the sudden, silent crash of it that happens after 60. Most men think testosterone slowly declines, but what I've seen in hundreds of patients is that it drops off a cliff, especially when the body isn't being given the right support. And this coffee ginger honey blend, it does exactly that. Let's break it down. Ginger isn't just a warming spice. It's been used for centuries in traditional medicine as a male vitality booster. Modern science now backs that up, showing that ginger increases luteinizing hormone, which signals your testes to start producing more testosterone naturally. It also reduces oxidative stress in the Leydig cells, the very cells responsible for making testosterone in the first place. Then there's honey. And I'm not talking about that plastic bear bottle stuff from the grocery store. I mean raw, unfiltered honey packed with minerals. One of those minerals is boron, which helps increase free testosterone, the kind your body can actually use. It also stabilizes blood sugar, which is crucial because wild sugar swings kill hormone balance. David wasn't expecting all this. He thought we were just working on erections. But one morning, his wife made a comment that hit differently. "You've been standing taller lately," she said. "You seem lighter." That's when he realized it wasn't just physical. It was emotional. His fire was coming back. Because testosterone doesn't just control libido, it shapes how a man thinks, moves, and leads. It's tied to decisiveness, confidence, and calm strength, the kind of qualities that fade when hormones crash. And this drink, it doesn't force testosterone into your system the way injections or patches do. It reminds your body how to make it naturally. That's the difference. You're not cheating the system. You're reactivating it. And once your testosterone starts rising again, even just a little, you begin to show up in your life differently. You feel clearer, more grounded, more present in your relationships, and in your own skin. But even with testosterone improving, there's a deeper battle still going on, a quiet enemy inside your body that's been choking off blood flow and sabotaging your strength for years without you ever realizing it. And that's what we need to face next. I always tell my patients, you can have great habits, clean labs, and even rising testosterone, and still feel like something's holding you back. That something is often invisible. But it's deadly. It's called chronic inflammation. And for men over 60, it's one of the most overlooked reasons why erections weaken. Energy fades, and confidence crumbles. It's not the kind of inflammation you feel with an injury. This kind operates in the background, silently damaging your blood vessels, especially the small ones that supply blood to your penis. I saw this clearly in one of my patients. Mike, a 70-year-old retired architect from Boulder, Colorado, fit, active, ate clean, but he sat across from me with frustration in his eyes. "Doc, I'm doing everything right, so why do I still feel like I've got no spark?" We ran deeper tests. His C-reactive protein levels were elevated, a clear marker of internal inflammation. His arteries looked stiff. His endothelial function, how well blood moved through his vessels, was underperforming. He wasn't broken. He was inflamed. And that's when we brought in the Power Trio coffee, ginger, and honey. Ginger is a known anti-inflammatory powerhouse. Compounds like gingerol and shogal actively calm inflammation in the blood vessels. They help the vascular walls relax, allowing blood to flow more freely, especially in the pelvic region. Coffee, often misunderstood, is actually rich in chlorogenic acid, a potent antioxidant that helps protect cells from oxidative stress. When consumed without cream or sugar, black coffee is a healing tool, not a risk. Honey, raw and unfiltered, is full of polyphenols, natural plant compounds that soothe inflamed tissues and stabilize your body's immune response. I had Mike drink this combo first thing every morning, within 30 minutes of waking up. He called it his circulation cleanse. After 3 weeks, his posture changed. His voice had more energy. But what really stood out, he said, "Doc, I didn't realize how much pressure I'd been living under until it finally eased up. It's like the tension in my whole body let go. That tension, that heaviness. It was inflammation, clogging the channels that feed your brain, heart, and manhood. But when inflammation drops, the body doesn't just survive, it starts to thrive. Erections become stronger, energy lasts longer, recovery speeds up. And the beauty of this process, it's gentle. No side effects, no crashes, just a gradual, steady clearing of what's been holding you back. Mike's journey wasn't overnight, but it was real. And once inflammation was under control, something even deeper began to shift. His emotional drive returned. Because when your body stops fighting itself, it finally has the bandwidth to feel again. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. You can have blood flow restored, inflammation calmed, even testosterone creeping back up. But if you're still dragging through the day, staring at the floor instead of your partner, then something's missing. I call it emotional fuel, and without it, intimacy becomes effort instead of instinct. That's exactly where Ray, a 72-year-old retired high school music teacher from Cincinnati, found himself. A gentle man with a warm voice. But when he came into my office, he was heavy not just in body, but in spirit. "Doc," he said, "I'm not avoiding my wife. I just don't feel like trying anymore." And I got it. I've heard it from dozens of men. They're not depressed, not broken, just flat, tired of trying to feel something. That's why this coffee blend isn't just about blood and hormones, it's about mood. Here's the science: caffeine in coffee doesn't just wake up your body. It stimulates your central nervous system, increasing dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for motivation, drive, and pleasure. It's what lights up when you're attracted to someone or excited about something. But caffeine alone can be a blunt tool. That's where ginger comes in. Ginger helps regulate cortisol, your main stress hormone, which, when elevated for too long, kills your libido and drains your mood. It also supports serotonin, giving you that calm, confident energy men often lose with age. Then there's raw honey, a slow-burning fuel for your brain's energy needs. Your brain runs on glucose, and honey delivers it without a crash. It also helps stabilize mood swings by avoiding insulin spikes. Within a week of starting the drink, Ray came back different. His handshake was firmer. His eyes were brighter. He said, "Doc, I looked in the mirror this morning, and I recognized myself again." He wasn't talking about his body. He was talking about that spark, the interest in life, the curiosity in his wife's voice, the desire to show up again in the little ways that intimacy actually starts. Because when your energy returns and your mood lifts, desire follows. You're not forcing yourself to feel you're already there. You notice a glance, a touch, a memory, and suddenly, your body's on board with your heart again. That kind of shift isn't loud, but it's powerful. And yet, even with energy and mood coming back, there's one more layer most men don't talk about. It's subtle, quiet, but deeply frustrating. It's the feeling that even when you can perform, you don't feel it like you used to. And that's the next piece of this puzzle. I remember a man named Jack, 68, a retired Navy mechanic from North Carolina. Strong hands, a proud voice, but when he sat across from me, he lowered his eyes and whispered something that stuck with me. "Doc, I can still get it up, but I can't feel much anymore. It's like there's a wall between me and the moment." He wasn't complaining about dysfunction. He was mourning the loss of connection. And that's something I see more often than most people think. Men who can still perform physically, but the pleasure, the sensation, the spark, it's faded. Like someone turned down the volume and didn't tell them how to turn it back up. Oh, this is nerve fatigue, and it's more common than anyone realizes after age 60. Over time, blood flow to the smallest nerve endings in the penis slows down. The tissues get less nourishment. Oxidative stress wears down those delicate nerves, and what once felt electric now barely registers. But here's the good news. Those nerves aren't gone. They're just asleep. And this drink, it's like a gentle tap on the shoulder that says, "Hey, wake up. It's time." Ginger enhances peripheral circulation, meaning it sends more blood to the smallest capillaries, including the ones that nourish nerve endings in your pelvic floor. Even more impressive, ginger supports nerve regeneration. Studies show that its bioactive compounds help repair damaged nerve fibers. That's not just helpful, it's hopeful. Coffee, often misunderstood, actually boosts nerve responsiveness and communication between the brain and the body. The result? Sharper signals, cleaner transmission. And yes, more feeling where it counts. Then there's honey, not just a sweetener, but a stable, low glycemic energy source for your nervous system. Nerves run on glucose. Without enough, they fire slowly. With the right fuel, they light up. Jack came back 2 weeks later. He didn't smile right away. He just said, "I didn't know how numb I'd become until I started feeling everything again." That gave me chills, because for many men, numbness becomes the new normal. Quiet, accepted, endured, until they realize there's another way. And when that sensation returns even slowly, it doesn't just change the bedroom. It changes the way you walk, the way you breathe, the way you show up. But to keep that nervous system sharp and hormones steady, there's one more piece to address. Blood sugar. And most men don't realize how much it's sabotaging their manhood. I once had a patient, Larry, 71, a retired accountant from Des Moines. He wasn't overweight, didn't smoke, walked every evening with his golden retriever, Max. But when he came in, he said something that caught my attention right away. "Doc, I'm not diabetic, but I feel off, tired, heavy, not myself." I knew exactly what it was: unstable blood sugar. It's one of the most overlooked causes of weak erections and low testosterone in older men. And the scariest part, you don't need a diabetes diagnosis for it to wreak havoc. Here's what I mean. As blood sugar rises and falls unpredictably throughout the day due to processed carbs, missed meals, late-night snacking, it creates a hormonal roller coaster. Insulin spikes, testosterone drops, cortisol jumps in, inflammation flares up, blood flow slows. The result: you're tired, you're irritable, your desire fades, your performance suffers, and your confidence takes a hit. Now here's where our morning ritual comes in. Ginger, taken regularly, has been shown in clinical trials to improve insulin sensitivity, meaning your body responds better to insulin and clears glucose more efficiently. That helps prevent those dangerous hormone-disrupting sugar spikes. Coffee, particularly black and unsweetened, supports glucose metabolism. It actually helps lower the risk of type 2 diabetes when consumed daily, especially in the morning. It primes your body to process carbs more efficiently throughout the day. And yes, honey is sugar, but raw, unfiltered honey is different. It's loaded with enzymes, antioxidants, and trace minerals that slow down absorption. Instead of spiking blood sugar like refined sugar, it delivers steady, long-burning energy that your brain and nerves can use without crashing. When Larry started this drink, I told him, "Don't expect magic. Just give it a few weeks." He did. 3 weeks later, he came in, stood taller, smiled wider. "I feel even, not just in the bedroom," he said, "in my head, my mood. Everything feels less up and down." That's when I knew his blood sugar had stabilized without pills, without diets that feel like punishment. Just a warm cup, a small change, and consistent care. Because here's the truth: when your blood sugar is steady, your hormones begin to breathe. Testosterone rises, cortisol lowers, your mind gets sharper, your energy lasts longer, and your confidence rebuilds. And as that internal chemistry resets, another often ignored part of male health begins to improve: the prostate. And believe me, that's a game changer for older men. Let me tell you about Frank, a 74-year-old Vietnam veteran from Sacramento. Tough guy, had seen it all. But when he sat across from me in my office, there was a look in his eyes I hadn't seen before. "Doc," he said quietly, "I can handle pain. I've lived through worse. But this is different. I'm up 5 times a night. I can't sleep. And it's killing my confidence in ways I can't explain." What Frank was describing was more than just age. It was a prostate screaming for help, and he wasn't alone. Millions of men over 60 live with benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, or simply an enlarged prostate. It squeezes the urethra, disrupts urinary flow, and wreaks havoc on erections. The pressure it creates doesn't just affect your bladder, it presses down on the nerves and vessels tied directly to sexual function. But here's the good news: prostate inflammation is not a life sentence. In this simple morning drink, it's one of the best natural tools I've seen in my 30-plus years of practice. Let's break it down. Ginger is a superstar here. It's been shown in multiple studies to reduce inflammation in the prostate and may even help slow the progression of BPH. It relaxes the smooth muscles around the bladder and urethra, making it easier to go without strain, pressure, or urgency. Coffee, when taken in moderation, acts as a mild diuretic. It helps flush the urinary tract gently and reduce fluid retention. For men like Frank, that meant fewer middle-of-the-night bathroom runs. And honey. It's not just a sweetener. It has antibacterial and antifungal properties that can quietly fight off low-grade urinary tract infections that often go unnoticed but make everything worse. After just a month on the drink, Frank returned. He didn't say anything at first, just handed me a little folded-up piece of paper. It was a note from his wife, and "Thanks for giving me my husband back." Frank smiled and added, "I sleep 6 hours straight now. I haven't done that in years." That's the kind of healing most men never expect, but deeply deserve. And once your prostate is no longer stealing your peace and sleep, there's one more thing that begins to change. Your pelvic blood flow, and trust me, it's more important than you realize. One of the most overlooked signs of aging I see in my patients isn't in their face or even their posture. It's in the way they describe a feeling they can't quite name. "Doc," said Elliot, a 68-year-old retired mechanic from Tulsa, "I just feel cold down there, like the spark's gone." He wasn't talking about temperature. He was talking about a loss of blood flow to the pelvic region, the core of a man's vitality. Now, you might not think much of it at first, but here's what I've learned over the years. When pelvic circulation starts to slow, everything suffers. Muscles weaken, nerves dull, sensation fades, and erections become unreliable or disappear altogether. But here's where this simple drink begins to work its deeper magic. Let's start with ginger. This isn't just a spice, it's a powerful vasodilator, meaning it naturally widens blood vessels. More importantly, it targets the lower abdominal and pelvic regions, encouraging blood to return to areas that may have been neglected for decades. Ginger also increases core body warmth, which helps stimulate circulation to your inner organs, including the prostate, bladder, and yes, the penis. Add to that the caffeine in black coffee, which boosts blood flow systemically. It wakes up your central nervous system and pushes fresh, oxygen-rich blood throughout the body. Then there's honey, rich in trace minerals and antioxidants, which help keep the blood vessels elastic and the vascular lining nourished. When your vascular system is healthy, your circulation stays strong, and that's when men start to notice changes in their confidence, posture, and pleasure. Elliot began drinking the blend every morning: black coffee, half a teaspoon of grated ginger, and 1 teaspoon of raw honey. After about 3 weeks, he came back in and said something that stuck with me. I didn't just feel heat. Doc, I felt presence. Like something inside me had been asleep, and now it was stirring again. That's what I call a quiet fire, a slow return of life to the places that matter most. And it's not just about performance, it's about feeling alive in your own body again. But even when blood starts flowing again, there's one thing that can still hold a man back: something deeper, his mindset. And that's where the next chapter begins. Sometimes, the biggest breakthrough doesn't come from a new treatment or a lab result. It comes from something far more personal, a change in ritual. Let me tell you about Bill, a 71-year-old former high school football coach from Indiana. Bill had tried everything from supplements to expensive hormone clinics. But what hit him hardest wasn't just the physical decline. It was the emotional one. I don't feel like the man I used to be. Doc, he said, eyes lowered. I look in the mirror and don't recognize myself anymore. And that right there, that's the real crisis for many men over 60. It's not just about testosterone or blood flow. It's about identity, about waking up and feeling like you've slowly become invisible to others, and even to yourself. That's why I asked Bill to do something unusual. Bill, I said, this isn't about a miracle drink. It's about a morning ritual that puts you back in the driver's seat. Every morning, he brewed his black coffee, added in half a teaspoon of grated ginger, stirred in a spoonful of raw honey, and then, most importantly, he sat down, sipped it slowly, and said out loud, I still matter. He thought I was crazy. But 2 weeks in, Bill said something had changed. It's not just the energy or the firmness coming back, he said. It's the me that's coming back. You see, a ritual isn't just a routine. It's a declaration, a signal to your brain, your body, and your soul that says, I'm still here. I still have purpose. I'm still a man. That shift, from just surviving your mornings to owning them, starts to change everything. It changes how you move, how you speak, how you connect with your partner, your kids, your friends. You stop shrinking from life and start stepping into it again. So no, this drink isn't magic. It's a moment of control, a daily choice to show up for yourself. And when you repeat that choice every morning, something powerful happens. Your body begins to believe you again, and it responds. But here's the real secret. It's not just the ritual itself that makes the difference. It's that this drink was designed to work with your biology, not against it. And that's what we'll uncover in our final chapter. Most men come to me asking for a fix, a pill, a patch, something that works now. And I get it. When you've been feeling off for months, even years, patience runs thin. But here's what I've learned after 30 years of helping men reclaim their health: the fastest way to real results is to stop chasing quick fixes and start working with your body, not against it. Take Thomas, for example, a retired Air Force mechanic, 66 years old, disciplined as they come. He'd tried every little blue pill, every over-the-counter booster, even expensive hormone shots. They all worked, he told me, until they didn't. Then I felt worse than before. Why? Because those options force your body to respond often in ways it's not ready for. That's not restoration. That's pressure. That's performance without healing. That's why this simple morning drink is so different. When you combine the natural alertness of coffee, the warming, circulation-boosting power of ginger, and the nourishing sweetness of raw honey, you're not triggering a fake response. You're reminding your body of what it already knows how to do. This isn't about hacking your system. It's about reconnecting to it. Your blood vessels start to open not suddenly, but steadily. Your hormones begin to rebalance, not with a surge, but with gentle cues. Your nerves become more responsive, not from shock, but from support. Your brain and body remember how to talk to each other again. And most importantly, your confidence starts to rebuild naturally. Thomas came back to me after a month and said, "Doc, it's not just what's happening in the bedroom. I'm walking taller. My chest feels open. I'm breathing easier. I feel like I've turned the ignition back on." That's the power of working with your biology. There's no crash, no dependency, just a slow, steady return to vitality. And this is why I always say, you are not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You need support. You need time. You need the right signals. And above all, you need to believe that your body still remembers the way back. And now that we've covered all 10 powerful benefits of this simple drink, I want to show you how to prepare it the right way. It's time for the final part. I've had men fly in from across the country asking me, "Dr. Hyman, I've seen your videos. I've read the studies. But how do I actually make this drink?" So let's break it down. Simple, straightforward, and powerful. Here's what you need. 1 cup of freshly brewed black coffee. No sugar, no creamer, just the real deal. 1/2 teaspoon of freshly grated ginger, or 1/4 teaspoon if you're using powdered ginger. 1 teaspoon of raw, unfiltered honey. Local honey is best if you can get it. Now, while the coffee is still hot, and that part is important, gently stir in the ginger first. Give it a moment to release its oils. You'll smell that spicy, earthy scent almost immediately. That's when you know it's waking up. Then, add the honey. Stir slowly until it dissolves. No need to rush. This whole process is about intention, not just nutrition. Now here's the key. Drink it within 30 minutes of waking up. That's when your metabolism is most receptive. Your body's systems are just turning on, and this gives them the best signal to function right. Sip it slowly. Let the warmth settle in your chest. Feel it as it flows down, not just into your stomach, but into your circulation, your nervous system, your energy. You're not just drinking coffee. You're activating your day and your manhood with a purpose. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s completely transform their mornings with this single ritual. It's not magic. It's biology plus consistency. Let me share one last story. Walter, 78, a retired high school basketball coach from Indiana. Stoic, reserved, the kind of guy who didn't believe in natural remedies. His wife begged him to give this a try. 3 weeks later, he called me, and I'll never forget what he said. "Doc, I don't feel like I'm fading anymore. I feel awake, and my wife, she says I smile more. That's what this drink is really about. Waking up parts of you that you thought were gone, not just physically, but emotionally, intimately, authentically." So, tomorrow morning, when you reach for that cup of coffee, ask yourself, is this just caffeine? Or is this my comeback story beginning again? Try it. 7 days, then 14, then a month, and let your body show you what it's still capable of. You're not too old. You're not past your prime. You're just getting started. After all these years, I've come to believe something simple but powerful. Health after 60 is not about going backward. It's about rising differently. You're not here to chase your 20s. You're here to honor your 60s, 70s, and beyond with strength, clarity, and dignity. And it doesn't take a miracle. It takes small, intentional steps. A morning drink that supports your blood flow and hormones. A few minutes of stillness to listen to your body. A deeper sleep, not from pills, but from rhythm and nourishment. These things matter more than most people think, because what you do each day becomes your signal to your body. I'm still here. I still care. I still have purpose. If you've made it this far in the story, maybe you feel something stirring. A quiet voice saying, "I want that too." Then listen to it. Don't wait for the right moment. Start with one cup, one walk, one deep breath. That's all it takes to begin again. And if this message spoke to you, if you see yourself or someone you love in these stories, don't keep it to yourself. Share this, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's build a space where men over 60 feel seen, supported, and celebrated. Because real strength isn't in pretending nothing's changed. It's in learning how to rise stronger than ever. And yes, you still have time. Still have power. Still have everything it takes. Your next chapter starts now.